Hello, this is Kris Nelson for EvolveConsciousness.org. I'll be reading the article or post, Pleasure Gratification Life Mottos, as long as with the Pleasure Trap Life Motto Addendum that I wrote shortly afterwards. This was posted on the 7th of August and the 15th of September, respectively, in 2014. People, especially New Agers and other pseudo-spiritual followers, have accepted a false axiom into their life's purpose and meaning. It has several forms: pursuit of happiness, enjoy life, live life, follow your passion, follow your bliss, live in the now, experience the now, experiences are all valid, we are here to experience everything, and more. I just want to mention that people who believe in the pursuit of happiness, this is a major mind control thing, so then your focus becomes on the pleasure trap. It all becomes about pleasure, happiness. You want to be happy, so you'll do anything to be happy. That's all your focus is. It's not on truth and morality. It's all on happiness, enjoying life, be blissful. Tell them about happy, happy, happy. People don't understand. Happiness is going to come when we live in truth and morality, real happiness. Not this authentic bullshit of living as false selves, inauthentic, unexamined, unrealized. We live in a false construct of living. So, oh yeah, we're happy, we have fun with people, we talk and we go and watch movies and we do activities and yay, and we laugh all the time and woohoo, we're so happy, yeah, we're all happy, everyone's pursuing happiness, so they're happy, right? Because that's what they pursue all the time. They pursue pleasure all the time. So of course they're happy all the time. That's what they pursue. That's their main importance in life, is being happy. So of course they're going to focus on attaining happiness in any way they can. So that's why people are focused on other people. They don't care for truth and morality. They want to have friends. They want to get together with people, and they want to connect, and they want to feel the connection and the happiness, and I have no problem with any of that. Well, that's what people are focused on, and they completely ignore truth and morality because their focus is on feeling good. So yeah, when you connect with people and you share things about your personal life, and then it develops trust, or you make yourself vulnerable, and then other people trust you because you make yourself vulnerable. I don't play those games, but I understand psychologically how this operates. But it's all, yeah, it feels good, and you connect with people, and you're not alone, because people don't like being alone, and they have a fear of being alone, so that's the pain, and they want the pleasure, so they want to connect with people. See, the pleasure trap is a huge aspect of our life, and there's multiple dimensions and levels of manifestation in our lives, and the pursuit of happiness is such a detrimental aspect, where people will never actualize truth and morality because they think everything's good. And so let's just pursue happiness. Screw the rest. As long as I'm living in my geographical zone of comfort and convenience, well, hey, just let evil run amok. And then when it comes knocking at my door, then I can be an ignorant little retard and bitch about it, like a good pseudo-spiritualist and New Ager. To continue with the article, the latter forms are explicitly descriptive of the mind virus to accumulate experience. The former life mottos are also rooted in the appearances of experience and continually replenishing your repository with new experiences to keep you from boredom and truly having to take the outsider, isolated and solitary journey of self-discovery and reality discovery. So what I'm saying is, your focus on experiencing things and deriving meaning from those experiences so that you can get things from the experience, such as feelings, so you can feel good. That's why people go on adventures and the endorphins. We do things, activities, they generate endorphins, they make us feel good. Sports do that. And it prevents you from taking the solitary, solo, independent path on the journey towards truth and morality, and the path and the way. You got to discover it for yourself. Self-discovery, reality discovery. But people don't do that. They don't take the isolated, solitary outsider path. They want to connect with people. They want to make friends. They want to spend. Most people want to spend time with other people. Few people actually want to be alone. So everyone's trying to get with their friends, go partying, have fun, and do all these things. They don't see how they're how they're trapping themselves by these distractions. Yes, it is a distraction. To continue, it is not experiences that are required to be fresh and new in the purposeful and meaningful life, but the mind itself needs to be renewed. The substantive, authentic, examined life is one where the mind of the experiencer goes through renewal and cleaning, not the appearances or experience themselves being renewed or refreshed. It's not about having renewed experiences and new experiences all the time and refreshing your experiences. No, it's about renewing and refreshing your consciousness. It's not about renewing and refreshing the activities of the behavior you engage in to continually do new things with your behavior, to refresh so that you don't do the same old things. Oh, that's too boring. I'm eating oatmeal every morning. Oh, I got to refresh my behavior and eat something new. I got to have a new experience. I got to have many more experiences because all experiences are valid. So I just got to have experiences. That's the purpose of life. Wrong. So the renewal and cleaning isn't about the external world. It's about us first, and then it'll reflect externally. We need to clean our consciousness, our minds and hearts that are polluted and in darkness, and we need to clean them so that our behaviors can reflect that, and then we'll realize, yeah, so what if you eat oatmeal every day or you eat the same meal every day? That's not what matters. It's the actions that reflect moral living that matter. So if you're eating murdered animals, then it does matter what you're eating every day. That'll come with truth and morality. Then you'll understand what is required to change yourself so that it's a reflection of the outside world. And the purpose is to remove evil, to remove enslavement. That's the purpose of life. It's not to gain experiences. To continue, the spiritually dead are asking for more stimulus, distractions, and things to be provided to them for the continued avoidance of the boredom of their way of living, unsatisfactory way of living, unsatisfactory conditions, and quest to know thyself. So it's the avoidance and boredom of this. They're avoiding it. They don't want to know themselves. The system provides many avenues of pleasure and relief of boredom to continue living in the cyclical program, continuing to manufacture the false appearances and false personas people adapt to. So yeah, you're bored, everything's mundane. That's why we're always looking for the novel and new. We're not looking at what's currently here, what the old is, the bad habits that currently exist, that we're currently manifesting. We want stimulus. We want distractions. We want novelty. We want new things so that we can continue to avoid the current existing negative, evil, shadow, demon, darkness in us and in the world. So you keep people in distractions, perceptual distractions, which I have an infographic and I did a few days ago. It's called Perceiving Reality. It's about 2 hours, I think. Anyways, and they're perceiving perceptual distractions, and it prevents us from seeing how the repercussions of our actions are coming back to smack us down. Because the natural law train, we're on the track, we're on the wrong track of actions we've produced outwardly, and we've sowed negative evil, and then that negative evil is going to come back on us because that's what we sowed. We're living in one system. So the train's heading towards us, it's going to smack us and kill us by our own doing, but we can't see it coming because we're not looking, because we have too many distractions. To continue with the article, engage in all the many passions of the external world and ignore the confused and clouded internal state, letting everything keep going on as it is. While you focus on your enjoyment in life, pursuing your happiness, enjoying the ride, etc. Yep, that is how things will change. You have it really figured out. That's what some people think. You just keep focusing on enjoyment. Keep staying confused. Don't seek for truth and morality. Just keep seeking your low base consciousness passions and desire to engage in pleasure gratification all the time and pursue happiness just so you can have pleasure gratification. And don't seek truth and morality. That'll fix things, yeah. No, that's part of enjoying the ride and just riding the wave downwards to evil and self-destruction is this pursuing happiness and pleasure trap bullshit. Enjoying life. The enjoyment of life will come once we live in truth and morality. Truth and morality, seeking truth, discovering truth, is the greatest joy. For me anyways. It's my life purpose. Without it, I'd still be lost. You see, because I have my understanding, or a theory, is that until you find truth and morality as a deep purpose within you, you are lost. No matter what successes you think you will be engaging in, it doesn't matter. Because you have not found the deep care and yearning for truth and morality to actualize, realize, and individuate yourself as a true self in alignment with the transcendental aspects of being, which are truth, love, good, right, morality, natural law, which is the higher self, true self, and higher will. So if you're not actualizing yourself, if you're not on that journey towards that, then you are still lost, because you're still not seeking the true self. You don't understand what it's about. You're living in confusion, even though you don't think you are. People can live in complete ignorance of how confused they are and how ignorant they are. That's not a problem. People can lie to themselves very easily, create fantastic worldviews and beliefs that are not grounded in reality very much. It's very easy to do for people. Living in fantasy is what most of us do. We live in illusions. We're living in a false self, and we're not living in the true self. We try to get people to understand that. Very hard. So people keep going into the live, survive, procreate, enjoy life, and then die. And there's the cyclical loop. Keep going down and down and down and down. To continue the article, engage in all the many... Oh no, I already read this. Sorry. Next paragraph. What about doing the hard work of learning and empowering yourself and help others to do the same to understand how to end all of our bullshit? Spending your time on pleasure gratification and happiness achievement through external stimulus is not going to cut it in the current condition we find ourselves in. Look around you. This is what everyone is doing. Stop chasing external things. We need to step up our game to get out of our attachment to the pleasure trap, my freedom and my truth and my survival, and really get down to putting our time and energy into resolving our issues, not continuing to engage in the many variations of pleasure gratification and distractions available to us. These are avoidance attachments to live in insulated bubbles of reality with your focus, time, attention, and energy being channeled into pleasing life experiences that provide you with the enjoyment and living you desire, want, expect, and believe you are entitled to. Forget about everything else, forget about your ignorance and the need to reduce it with quality knowledge, persistence, dedication, determination, etc., and just enjoy life, enjoy yourself, follow your passion, and have fun. And this is what the New Ager I used to live with was trying to do. I was trying to get him to care for truth and morality, which he didn't care about. I couldn't get him to do it. And he told me several times, I'm trying to get you to live life. I'm trying to get you to enjoy life. And I just laugh at him every time. You still don't get it. Still don't get it. You don't want to get it. He doesn't want to get it. See, you're trying to help people wake up and get it, but they don't want to get it. They don't want to understand. So then what are you supposed to do? Keep hammering on idiots that don't want to learn? No. Stop wasting your time on people who can't learn. Stop wasting your time on people in the truther movement who don't want to accept, the the truth about other things such as veganism. You're going to spend your time every day repeating the same things to people who don't want to learn? If they don't want to learn, why are you wasting your time? There's plenty of people who will learn. I don't know where they are, but that's why we need to get out into the world. Well, that's why for now, living in a limited area where I live, I put out a one-to-many relationship where I can get it out to people on the internet who actually want to learn, who are actually looking for information to learn from. Because in my life, I try to tell people things and get them to care for truth so that they can embark on this journey themselves. And I'm looking for a universal truth virus to infect people's minds with the truth to get them to care for truth and morality. But I don't think it exists, because I can't get people to watch Terror Storm and develop care for truth. It's not going to happen for other people like it happened for me. It's an individual catalyst people need. And sometimes it doesn't matter what you say, people need to reach the depths of chaos, either their own suffering in their own personal lives, or they have to wait for it to come down with a hammer and a police state and total enslavement, and then they'll realize how wrong they were and how ignorant they are, but how much they need to care for truth and morality. Anyways, I'm disillusioned by the ignorant dead people and how to get them to care for truth and morality. You can't. Out of everyone that I've spoken to and jobs I've had and family members, I can't get people to care for truth and morality. Anyways, that's my little rant there. I have a note on it. I haven't published it because I still have to review it and edit it. But it's about where our time and attention is being focused on and who deserves our time and attention. I don't waste it on Facebook. Most of the people post there don't want to learn. They pretend like they want to learn. They want to learn halfway. They want to learn as long as it's acceptable to them. When you talk about things that are deeper into truth and morality, well, then they don't really want to learn. They don't want to let go of their attachments to falsity in themselves and engage in objective detachment. No, they don't want to learn what evil is and what enslavement is, and objectively, so they can see how they engage in it towards other beings that aren't humans. No, they don't care about that. People don't care for truth and morality yet. They don't have the deep care. Most people anyways, even the truther people. There's only few people that do. Even vegans, they recognize an overt aspect of reality, which is a lot more than the idiots in the truther movement who can't recognize an overt aspect of reality, which I was. I was a stupid truther. It's murder and enslavement, but I viewed it as necessary. That it was for my survival and I needed to eat them. So I knew, Meet Your Meat, or the meat video from like 10 years ago. It was describing factory farming. I never watched it because I knew how horrible it was and I knew it was wrong, but I excused it and justified it as necessary because I was ignorant, an ignorant truther. I didn't understand morality to the depth. I was a truth seeker, but I didn't care for morality enough. I cared for truth, but I didn't reach the deeper care for morality. So I didn't go look into it more. I just avoided it. I didn't want to face it. Alright, I guess enough for that rant. Don't even know how I got onto that. I'll read the last paragraph. And for any confusion out there, in all my work relating to the pleasure trap, nowhere have I said to deny or avoid pleasure. This is a strawman caricature invented from your own mind. Now, what I've said in other places is, in other notes, is pleasure happens automatically. So when it happens, okay, it happens. You don't need to go seek it. You don't need to deny it or avoid it. But don't make it your focus in life. Because when it happens, you talk to someone, a joke, something funny, haha, funny, happy, pleasure, you smile, happiness, well then there you go. Have fun with that. Don't make it your purpose in life. Pursuit of happiness. No. Pursuit of truth and morality is what we need to do. That's the capital in life. That is the real capital. Most important thing. To continue, I have always been targeting our current focus and attachment to this pleasure trap that has us avoiding our responsibility in life to end evil, and falsity that has us living false lives. Time is limited. I mention this in many places. Time is limited. Again, with people who don't want to learn on Facebook and post stuff. But if you're going to continually engage in comments with idiots, then you're going to be wasting a lot of your time that you could be spending learning more things, learning more depths of truth and morality, or creating your own content to reach people who actually want to learn. If you're focusing on people who don't really want to learn, and you can see it in their expressions of consciousness, where their level of consciousness is at. If they don't want to learn, don't waste your time on them. It's like talking to a wall, essentially. Just move on and go to someone who will be more receptive to the information, that you can actually feed them if you want to. I don't like to spoon feed people. I will share what I have to say, but I will not spoon feed you on an individual basis. That's why I'm trying to get people to care for truth and morality. So I'm going into the depths of it and showing how important it is. Well, there's not many people who read my material anyways and go through my material, but I don't know, I'm trying to figure out how to get people to learn on their own. That's what we need. You can't just go teach people forever. You can teach and put your information out, but going to teach people on a one-on-one basis to get them to care for truth, well, how come they're not teaching themselves? Why do they need you to talk to them specifically to learn? In comments, why do they need you to refute everything they say? How come they don't doubt, question, and curious about what is being presented to go verify if their beliefs are true, or if the new information has any veracity? This is reality versus perception. And you can look at that in the video I made 2 or 3 days ago, perceiving reality. It's a big flowchart on how we perceive reality. And a big boo-boo is I forget. When you dismiss it. No. I forget why I was bringing that up. It has to do with perceiving reality, something I was just talking about. So, time is limited. Truth takes time, so that's why you got to begin. You're not going to get everything right away, and it takes time. So time is limited. When you put it on pleasure gratifications, it isn't being channeled into stopping the evil from continuing. The above life models are all ways to keep spinning around in hamster wheels of cyclical enjoyment of life, while nothing changes for the better at all. It just keeps going downhill because we let it, because we are just in it to go with the flow and enjoy the ride. That is 99.999% of people. Life, survival, procreate, enjoy life, death. Rinse, repeat. Nothing changes. Keep doing the same things and you will keep getting the same results. My purpose is not to focus on living and enjoying life. My purpose is to focus on putting an end to all evil. When you see the current condition as it really is, you can begin to act in the responsibility of truth, learn, and then help get people out of their beliefs in falsity, and act less in the focus and attachment to just live life by your desires, passions, and enjoying the ride. You got to get out of that focus and attachment. So just follow your passion, enjoy the ride, follow your desires, do what you want. No. So that's the end of the first pleasure gratification life mottos. Now I have the addendum here. How many people do you know whom are happy with things as they are happy living in their reality bubble, that are actually capable of seeing reality as it truly is and acting upon that knowledge to try to change it? How many people are actually trying to seek truth and morality and trying to learn knowledge and act upon that knowledge to change reality, while they're still living in the happiness and the reality bubble of happiness? Well, they're not. They're incompatible as I see it. Because the New Ager I lived with, they were in that happy living, focusing on enjoying life, and it's all about them. They weren't seeking truth and morality. They weren't interested in what I had to say, really. They just wanted to refute and play the devil's advocate and be a jerk-off. Because they don't really care about truth and morality. They just want to argue about how there's no truth and there's no morality. Anyways, it's just a ridiculous, such a degenerated low consciousness. So to continue, so how many people are living like this, where they're actually in their happy little delusional bubble of reality, but they're actually seeking truth and morality? They're incompatible things. You can do partially, we're still partially living in the bubble of reality, and you can still partially seek truth, but as you get to seek more truth and morality and actualize it in your way of living, it takes you away from that bubble of illusion. So people who are happy with how things are aren't seeking truth and morality. Because when you seek truth and morality, you see how shitty things are and you're not happy with them, and you're going to work to change them. So when you're working to change it, you're not really happy with how things are. Alright, that's what I meant there. So not many, but some do see, yet continue along the false path anyways. So some people do see, but they still live in the reality bubble, and they're not happy with how things are, but they're still going to continue doing it. They go about their days happy with their position, happy with the privilege and luxury of our little zone of comfortable living, while others are not, and while the world is going downhill in many places already are there and going further, such as many impoverished third world countries, and their conditions are degrading more and more. They're being exploited. To continue, happiness can come from fulfilling a goal. Whatever your goal is, if you accomplish it, you will be satisfied and happy at the success. So if you have a goal to, you're a CEO and you want to take over a company, or you want to make money, well, when you achieve your goal, even if you did it immorally, you're going to be happy because you achieved your goal. Whatever your goal is, whenever you achieve a goal, you become happy, and then you set yourself another goal, and then you seek out that goal, and once you achieve it, then you're happy that you've achieved it, like the success. You're working on a school project or something, and then when it's finally done, you're like, yay, I'm so proud of myself, it's done. So you're just happy at the success. It can be completely illusory. It doesn't have to be anything authentic and true. It can be an immorality that you're happy about. People can become happy with stealing and murder and so many degeneracies. Because they have that goal, they have a corrupted false self with corrupted desires and corrupted care, dark care. And if they fulfill their dark care, then they're happy. The dark occultists, well, sure, they can be happy. They're doing what they want to do, and they're getting what they want. So when you get what you want, you're happy. You have a desire, your expectation is fulfilled, and it creates pleasure. Again, the pleasure gratification. So a large part of our lives is this fulfillment of desires that we have. All our wants, our wishes, and beliefs and desires, where we want to have them realized in our life. We want to have them become validated and true. And that's also another reason people hold on to beliefs, because they want their beliefs to be true. They don't want to let go of them. They don't want to be wrong. So happy at the success. Dark care, doesn't matter. Doing evil. Whatever your desire is, whatever you want it to have happen, whatever you want to create, once you're able to create it, it gives you a sense of fulfillment and accomplishment, because you're successful in your endeavor. The thing you wanted to do has been done. You've succeeded rather than failed. Failed is a negative. People don't want the negative. That's pain. People view failure as a painful thing. They only want to be successful, and they strive for success. And this is in the dark trivium rhetoric bullshit, that the success is also a part of survival. Economic survivability increases in some ways the more money you have through success. So people become fixated on having success to increase their economic survivability, and they're also focused on the attachment to physicality and physical things and materialism. So they want to have more success so they can buy more things and have more pleasure gratification through those material things. See, it's all pleasure and pain avoidance is everywhere. The negative, they avoid the negatives in order to have the positive, to view themselves as positive, as a success, to have what they want, to feel good about themselves. It's all feel-good deceptions. Alright, that was enough of a rant there. Let's continue with this paragraph. Thus, success in overcoming challenges brings happiness for most. There is also the fulfillment of wishes or expectations that provide joy, among other stimulants to happiness. So as I was just saying, expectations and wishes. When you get those fulfilled and they're accomplished, then it's a success and you feel good. Many sayings and ideologies exist for this. Follow your inner truth. Follow your inner bliss. Follow your inner guide, your vibration, your intuition, your call to adventure. Oh, make things resonate. It's got to resonate with you. The thing about resonance, that's only Whatever comes from reality needs to resonate with my preconceived beliefs, and if it doesn't, then I'm going to reject it based on emotional mind control feel-good resonance. So, oh, it doesn't resonate with what I've already accepted and it's creating a conflict within me. Oh, I don't want this new information. It doesn't resonate with me. Because you're not in the true self of truth and morality. You haven't actualized that into yourself enough, so you're not able to detect the falsity around you. So then your resonance is a resonance with falsity, because that's who you are inside, is a falsity, a false self. So you resonate with other falsity because the falsity you've previously accepted is used as a basis for your ego personality identity construct, which is your sense of self and who you think you are. So since you are a false self, you will resonate with falsity rather than resonate with truth and obtain more truth, because you're already living in some aspects of deeper truth and morality whereby you can resonate with truth and morality. So people often resonate with falsity because they're living false selves. Even as a false self, you can resonate with truth and recognize it and bring it into your life, but that's less likely in the current conditioned state of people, whereby they're unable to detect and properly resonate with truth. So it's all this bullshit. You resonate. Oh, it doesn't resonate with me. To continue, the problem is we are deeply conditioned into falsities and distractions that prevent us from facing and dealing with reality correctly, to act on the wrongs that we are currently oblivious to. I find these sayings and life mottos support such a false way of living by maintaining the ignorance of the most important supreme capital in life, truth and morality. These ideologies for life are considered the best. To just enjoy life, have fun, follow your bliss, and many other life mottos. You don't see or hear the people expressing those deceptive, infatuating because you're being made a fool to believe in that bullshit, pleasure gratification life models, talking about natural law, morality, or truth as the way and path to joy and happiness for all. Do you see these people talking about this? People want to say, oh, enjoy life, follow happiness, follow your bliss, all this other bullshit. Do you see them talking about natural law, morality, or truth as the way and path to real joy and true happiness? No, they are focused on personal ideologies of inner truths, bliss, adventures, etc. Go skydiving, paint, make music, bungee jump, hiking, go on trips, travel. They're focused on themselves, having fun. They still don't have the deep understanding of what is required to change our way of living, just to service and stand in truth and to sacrifice ourselves towards truth and morality. So long as people don't want to do that, things are just going to keep going on forever and ever. It's not about, oh, well, I'm going to give a little bit of my time to truth and morality, I'm going to give a little bit of my time to learning. You got to give most of your time to truth and morality, seeking it out, and then when you understand things that other people don't, then you got to share it. And if people in your life don't want to listen to it, then put it online somewhere, make a site, do something, because what you know, other people probably don't know. We need to stop assuming that other people can easily find out what we understand. You can find it out if you go looking for it, and it can be harder. So you can help people by making it easier, by giving them things that you've been able to piece together that isn't expressed by other people. So the individual pieces that you've come across and understood and pieced together, well, those individual pieces are already out there, that you've come across them. But the connections probably aren't out there. You haven't read them. You made the connections yourself. So since that doesn't exist anywhere yet as a media form for people to learn from, you can put that into a media form for other people to learn from. That's what I do. I recognize most of the stuff I talk about, people are not talking about. A lot of the things I talk about, no one is talking about that I've come across. No one's saying exactly what I'm saying. They say similar things, different words, different ways. But I have a lot of original research as well. So it's important to get it out there, or else it's just going to stay within you. become infatuated with the notion of feeling alive and correlate that with life and living as your purpose to fulfill these sensations of feeling alive in order to live life. Yes, those will all help to end evil and immorality, to face your demons and negative, to promote truth. I'm just going to reread it. No, they are focused on personal ideologies of inner truth, bliss, adventures, etc. Go skydiving, paint, make music, bungee jump, hiking, go on trips, etc. Become infatuated with the notion of feeling alive through those actions, through those activities, and then correlate feeling alive with actual life and living as your purpose to fulfill these sensations of living in order to live life. So that's the deceptions of the New Ager I lived with. He associated with activities and doing things with people. Oh, that's living. That's having a life. So if you're not doing those things, well, you don't have a life and you're not living. Because you feel alive. Again, you feel something. Oh, you got endorphins. You feel good. So you feel good, and that's what you consider life and living. So that's how you live life, is through the sensations of feeling alive, feeling good. That's life for you. It has nothing to do with truth and morality. As long as you feel good, as long as you got chemical reactions pumping through your body, you're infatuating yourself. You're making yourself into a fool. You're doing it all yourself. That's why we are our own worst enemy, each of us. Your worst enemy is yourself. You keep yourself enslaved. You keep yourself a moron. You judge, offend, and insult your own self. You damn your own self. You enslave your own self, and you make your own self suffer. In the aggregate, in the most ways, yes, we do. When evil comes our way, no, we're not creating that necessarily and having harm done upon us. But in the aggregate karma, yes, we are doing that. As a group, yes, we are doing that. So, yeah, get focused on activities that provide you with a feel-good feeling alive, and then associate that feeling alive with living and life. Because when you feel alive, you're doing something, you're moving, and that's what movement is. And if you look at my etymology article on living, that's what alive is. You're actually moving. So you can have life, like a plant, but to be living and feeling alive, yeah, you're moving. To be alive, to live life. So yes, it requires movement. But you're moving in things that provide you with feel-good sensations. You're not moving in the movements of truth and morality to move into the action and behavior of your life of living in truth and morality. That's true living, that's true life, that's the afterlife. The current life we're living, that's hell. That's the death. When we're able to actualize heaven, then that's the afterlife. Each time you come to new levels of awakening in truth and morality, that's like another level of the afterlife. That's another level of reaching heaven in yourself. The kingdom of God is within, and then we can externalize it as a paradise, as an Eden in the physical sense. But first, that's to start internally. Then we manifest it outwards. So yeah, these people who do all these adventures, follow the bliss and all this stuff, they associate life and living with this feeling they have inside of themselves when they're doing these activities. So yes, those activities and all those desires will all help to end evil and immorality, to face your demons and negative, to promote truth and morality in your life, to help others realize its importance. Oh, whoops. No, they don't. Whoopsie, no it doesn't. Those things do not help to promote that. They don't help to end evil and immorality. They just keep you distracted. They just get you to be happy experiencing things. As long as you're experiencing things, you're happy, and now you're distracted. While ignoring what really matters. Because guess what? Your personal pleasure gratification and satisfaction does not matter compared to the importance of right versus wrong, good versus evil, and of truth and morality. Zero importance by comparison. Your happy experiences, your pleasure gratification has zero, yes, zero importance. Zero. What is important is truth and morality, not how happy you are and how much pleasure you're getting in your fucking life. No, I am upset with this shit because it's everywhere around me. It's just everywhere. People are infatuated with pleasure gratification, and it's so disgusting. They're just false selves trapped in seeking pleasure, optimism bias, positivity mask, avoidance of the negative, not facing themselves in the mirror because they're so afraid of looking at themselves honestly. They're afraid of looking at reality. It's fear of truth and morality. Anyways, zero importance by comparison to truth and morality and learning good versus evil, right versus wrong. Pleasure gratification does not matter at all, even if it's the most important thing in your life. That's why we're all animals. We're all animals, because animals live on that basic thing. You know, they might be content, but pleasure and pain, it's a basic instinct. It's the R complex. Seek pleasure and avoid pain. Yeah, it's all in all animal life. It's a basic thing. Of course, you can't get pleasure all the time, but as humans, we have the greatest power to create, and the greatest power to create good or evil. And that comes with a great responsibility that we're shirking off now and currently for thousands of years. But the power to create is what allows us to create such mechanisms of pleasure gratification and pleasure attainment, because we're able to create and live in different ways versus other animals. You know, a bird, they can create a nest, a bird's nest, and that's the technology. They went out and they created something. They created a device that wasn't there before, and it helps them survive. But we have the greatest capacity, so we can create artificial things that enhance our pleasure and keep us focused on pleasure, and that just drives us more into the lower base consciousness of pleasure gratification, of animalistic living. Not even as yeah, it is animalistic living, because it ties into the mammalian aspect, where the midbrain is what releases the chemicals for our experience of sensations and pleasures and pains that we feel. So yeah, I see it everywhere. Everywhere, people, like I mentioned in another audio yesterday, it's like in all high schools, and everyone's being sexualized, and it's all pleasure gratification, and everyone's all alone in pain and suffering, and they don't understand why they're in suffering because they're a false self, and they don't understand how they're inauthentic. And then people seek to relieve the distress and the fracture they have, which is the article I just read earlier on the false self and actualizing ourselves. The fracture we have is because we're not living as a true self and authentic, and we have all these distractions preventing us from introspecting and reflecting upon ourselves to find out the bullshit we have and the bullshit in the world. And we're just continuously focusing on pleasure in order to avoid that pain we have of the frustrations and the suffering we have, and we're not even aware of how it's being created. So then we keep seeking more pleasure in order to avoid what we're creating ourselves, and then we're just digging our hole deeper and deeper. We're going downhill more and more and more. The pleasure trap is huge. It's a huge problem, and it's tied into our physiology, the brain physiology and how it's constructed. It's part of, you know, we release pleasure and pain, but we're attached to pleasure, so it prevents us from facing reality in ourselves honestly. It's everywhere, and especially for women, they're made into sexualized objects. Women are made to try to be sexualized, to have sex appeal, to be pretty, to have a certain hairstyle, to be attractive, to have earrings, to have makeup, to have nice hair, show cleavage and show your legs, and you got to have a certain appearance to sexualize yourself to attract a mate. It's like, but this is still based in pleasure, because it's all. And then there's the whole aspect of suffering and parental abandonment issues, and people suffer, and then they get manipulated by people who infatuate them and make them feel good. So a lot of women fall into this, and then they fall for people who just use them and just to get into their pants, because that's what men want. They just want to fuck, and they just want pleasure, pleasure, pleasure. Everyone just wants pleasure. It's pleasure all around, and people just it's sickening. I look at it everywhere. I watch secondary experiences through fictional media, some certain television shows and movies, and you see how the pleasure trap is everywhere, and people focus on pleasure over truth and morality. People focus on themselves, my truth, my survival, my freedom, over truth and morality itself. All of life is a battle between truth and falsity, between good and evil, between right and wrong. That's what life has always been. Our life is about morality. That's what true spirituality is about. It's about morality. To get the true freedom, you need morality. To get the true happiness, you need morality. It's all about right and wrong, good and evil, true and false. That's what all of life is about. That's what the whole battle that's going on is about. Alright, enough of a rant on that. This audio is really long, and it wasn't supposed to be this long. But people don't want to face this or understand it deeply. I'm talking about the zero importance of your stupid pleasure gratification versus living in truth and morality by seeking it out and sharing it. So people don't want to face this or understand it deeply. They want their feel-good pleasure gratification to continue. To hell with the truth and morality. I am already honest and moral. I have better things to do than learn about truth and morality. That doesn't interest me. The reason people think it's just fine and dandy to go enjoy life and do whatever they want to make them happy is because they live in insulated bubbles of reality due to false perceptual processing of the world they live in. So go look at my presentation on perceiving reality, and you'll understand that more in depth. I won't go on another rant. We live in an illusion of falsity, masking the reality of our truth we don't want to face. People don't see the true state and condition of the world, and even their own lives. What else to do than enjoy life and focus on those close to you and your collective well-being and standard of living, right? What else are you going to do? Just enjoy life. That's what everyone's purpose is. We don't need to improve ourselves or our collective condition. Just keep up the enjoyment of the pleasure trap and all the distractions the system provides for you. The system provides them all for that very reason, to keep you on the pre-selected pathways that promote more of the false ways of living. Whatever you want, you can get. Anything with pleasure is available for our distraction from reality and the failure to live as an authentic, examined, substantive, essential, true self. That is why mental schisms develop to cope with the false ways of living. The depression develops from the inability to resolve the internal conflict we have within us. And that's what I was going to mention with the previous one earlier today on the false self and actualizing our lives in truth and morality. Is the fracture and the depression, the fracture we have in society and how things are uncomfortable and things aren't going right, and we have a fracture within ourselves, and the depression is, as I mentioned also in one of the recent audios I did yesterday or the day before, that depression is a conflict between your expectations and perceptions of reality and what reality is actually feeding you. So you want, desire, and expect something to be happening, but then the expectation doesn't come through, and now you're living in what you don't want to have happened, and that depresses you. So, you were working at a job for so long, and then you were going to be forced out on retirement. Well, that can depress you. You have identified with your job, so you lose an aspect of your identity with yourself, and then that depresses you, and then you turn to pills. Rather than facing how you're living a false self, how you're attached to your false identity. No. Pump you full of SSRIs, SNRIs, and then degenerate your brain chemistry until you turn into a retard even more and more. Yeah, that's the solution. That's what's going on with my uncle. It's been many, many years. He was demoted or something, and he wasn't as important. He was giving his whole life he gave to his work, and then they were going to demote him as a boss to a secondary boss and not the main boss or something, and then that depressed him. Now he's still on drugs and shit, and he won't He won't learn about how it's dangerous, and he doesn't care. It's all about pleasure. It's about avoiding the pain. People don't want to face the pain. They just want to avoid it at all costs. That's why the pleasure trap is such a huge aspect that keeps us trapped in our false selves. Most people are so ignorant of how the pleasure trap falls into keeping you locked into your own self-inflicted suffering and self-imposed enslavement. So I have one sentence, I'll finish. We aren't even consciously aware of these internal conflicts due to not being consciously aware of reality or ourselves. So I was talking about the false way of living and the depression that develops from the inability to resolve internal conflicts we have. The conflict we have with our subjective multiverse reality and the expectations we derive from the imagination of our minds and the reality that's given before us. Many times we expect truth and we expect morality, but what we get is more corrupted bullshit of the false ways of living we live in. And then rather than recognize that we're living in falsity, we're living in immorality, we're living in wrong, let's just remain attached to the false self and then create a depression within us because the false self that we're attached to does not match. We're trying to be. I messed up there. We're trying to be the true self, and we recognize. Sometimes we can recognize falsity and immorality in reality, and even though we're trying to do something right or expect something that is true and good, we get something wrong. Something that shouldn't have happened, where we got demoted from our jobs, even though we did everything, we gave ourselves to the job and we were loyal, and then we get treated like shit. The expectations aren't there. And it also happens in falsity too. You expect a falsity to happen, you expect an immorality to happen, because you're in a Satanist mindset of my truth, my freedom, and my survival. And then you do something, and then it doesn't go your way, and things don't work out in your expectations, and then depression, and you're unhappy, and then you seek to relieve that dissatisfaction, discomfort, and minor pain through pleasure gratification. Alright, that's the end of that. Thank you very much for your time and attention. Have a nice day. Take care. Peace.